Okay. Well, let's talk about media training because most small business owners will say, I don't need that. I'm not doing interviews. But I know from our conversation, we both agreed that there's more to it than that. Like you may not be doing a TV interview, but the same type of questions or the same type of interaction you may have with the cameras there, it also carries over into clients and people that you never know who's watching. You never know what's going on. So, for the people that are saying, I don't need that, um, I want to be able to talk about why it's something that's important and what's at stake for those that don't think they need it.
Okay. So for the businesses or business owners that's saying I don't need media training, couple questions. Are you on social media?
Mm,
Do you interact with customers?
mm,
Do you want to speak at events or conferences? Do you want to build your reputation? Right. These are all things that require media training, whether you think so or not. Let's reframe media training, right? It's a sometimes it sounds a lot harder to access than it is. Public
mm.
speaking. Can you speak in public? Do you know how to speak customer service? Right? These are all things that is media training without using those exact words, right? So when you talking about just being able to one golden rule, be a good human, right?
Yeah.
Think about questions from your client's perspective or your audience perspective, right? How would this make them feel? Just like second guess, right? Now, I know being PR trained gets a lot of flack. 'Cause you're like, they're not real. No, we're just not saying what exactly comes to our mind. We might hear
Mhm.
a dumb question and think it's a dumb question. Well, we don't say it's a dumb question. We might reframe it. What do you mean by that? Did you mean it like
Yes.
this? That's media training, right? It's just about being a good human, right? And when you talk about media training, the first thing, golden rule always, right? If I don't like something being said to me, I'm not going to say it to you, right? I don't want to give you ammunition and I don't want to be framed as a bad guy in public, right? Second
Mhm.
thing, accountability. It's easy. It's not, it's easy to say sorry. I'm sorry. It's two words and it stops a lot of stuff. It stops a lot of bleeding that happens. Three, improvising, but not in a way like don't say whatever comes to your head, but know how to roll with the punches, right? That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest things, right? And that's when it comes to media training, that's what we focus on a lot. Cause like you said earlier, you can plan for a lot of stuff. When I'm going on TV, like there's a script, there's certain questions that's going to be asked, there's certain things. I don't want to say script because that's a negative connotation too, but there's certain things going to be asked. We know certain questions that might be
Mhm.
asked, certain things, certain trends, right? But it's never going to go according to the plan. It's nothing. An audience member, you might be at an event. Audience member might be, I don't like your hat. And you might love that hat. Instead of saying, well, F you, my grandma
Mhm.
gave me this hat. Say, you know what? This hat is very important to me. That's why I wear it. You might not like it, but other people might. Right? And I just want to show that and tell that story. I just reframed it. Now she feels bad. Now I look good. Right? That's
Yeah.
media training. And so if you are a small business and you're interacting with any form of public, right? Public speaking, customers, clients, event sponsors, investors, whatever it is, you need media training because it's going to stop you from one, making a lot of mistakes, and two, learning how to roll with the punches. Because somebody might say some off the wall stuff, and if you're not media trained, you might say something back. But it's
It's
about understanding
inevitable.
what
Yeah.
questions to answer, what questions not to answer, right? What questions answer, what questions not to answer, and what questions can I kind of play around with and
Mhm.
maybe I can frame this a little bit better and make myself look good, make my team look good, or maybe get some donations off this question, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love the reframe. The reframe, if people don't take anything else from it, the reframe is one of the most important things that someone can pick up, and that's low-hanging fruit. So, if someone asks you a question and the way that they're framing it doesn't work for you,
Right.
reframe it so that you can tell the story and you can narrate it in a way that takes it from being something that's setting you up to fail into it being something that sets you up for that win. So
Uh,
someone asking you a question and it's a loaded question, then you can ask for more context. Well, like you said, what do you mean by that? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Can you repeat that back again? It's all of these little things that show people, you know what? I'm going to give you a second chance to ask that question again because the way you asked it is something that it's leaving room for this to go in the direction that you may not want it to go in. So instead of getting mad, being able to reframe it or being able to say, well, I heard you ask the question this way. I'm not going to not answer it, but I would like to reframe it in a way that will allow me to be able to get the information that you're asking for over to the people that may need it the most. Like,
uh-huh.
that's reframing. That's being able to figure out ways to be able to take a narrative that's being taken in a direction that doesn't suit you and being able to turn it back around into something that can be advantageous. So, definitely with that. I know from our conversation, you made a comparison to law. When you said it's stepping into PR and media, it's very much like going into a court. Like one wrong thing you say can cost you partnerships, deals, it can get you canceled. How do you help someone understand the gravity without making them so paranoid that they never want to say anything? Because online, it's very easy to say something, and online, like we already know, the whole joke is there's receipts. Like, I will joke with some people when I see them post something, I'm like, "Oh, put the shovel down." Like,
Yes.
you're gonna have a hard time digging yourself back out of that. So, how do you prepare people for it without making them so overwhelmed that they're scared to say anything?
Um, I think it's hard the beginning stages of it, right?
Mm,
When it come to us, like it's hard. They be like, "Well, why don't I just hide myself and do this?" Because that's not the way you want to run your business, right?
right.
That's not the way you want to live your life. Um, but the more we go into it, the more you get trained, the more you kind of get the confidence, right? Because it's just a confidence thing, right?
Mhm,
Fear is just a problem with confidence. You look at somebody that's scared to play basketball, right? Scared to take a jumper, right? When they first get on the court. It's a confidence issue. But the more they put in work and the more they train and the more they kind of build themselves up, the more confident they get. So the more freedom they start to experience. So it's
mhm,
all about understanding like one, what is your goals in business? Right. We try to relate it to what's your goals in business as much as possible because how do you want to live your life? Do you want to just be like a shadow?
yeah,
I don't want to do this. I don't want to post. I don't want to say anything. How you gonna make money? If it gets down to that, how are you gonna make money? How are you gonna get these sponsorships? How are you gonna get investors? How are you gonna make the impact that you want to make without being in that public, right?
mhm,
Without being in the public eye. It's very hard to do, right? Almost impossible to do. So that's kind of how we frame it. And then just one treating it like kids, like you know how to talk to kids. You talk to kids very nice, right? Most adults talk to children a lot nicer than other adults, right? So
yeah,
talk to them like that, right? Don't say too many big words because most people aren't going to understand that, right?
mhm,
Talk like you're talking to a fifth grader. And you're going to start, like, if you picture me as a kid, you're going to start talking nicer. You're going to start being more gentle, less slower paced. You're not going to talk super fast using big words, all right? You're going to be calm. Now, when you treat the audience like children, in a sense, right? Not like a baby, don't baby them, but talk as if you were talking to a fifth grader, right? That's going to make the language more accessible. That's going to make you naturally just be like, all right, let me be a little more patient, right?
right,
Maybe they didn't mean to ask this question like this, right? Because we're a lot harder on adults. You said what? Really?
mhm,
Well, how about I say, but if it's a kid, you're like, what you say? What do you
yeah,
mean by that? Now you're more
yeah.
patient, right? So kind of just treat them like kids.
That is a great way to be able to frame that because we will slow down, we will get context from a kid, and we also give them grace because where did you hear that from? Where did you learn that? Who taught you how to say that?
Hmm.
That's a level of grace that we give children that we don't give an adult. Adult says something and it's a gotcha moment. And a kid says something and it's a hold on, let me get context before I flip out or before I have a response in a way that uh may do more damage than it does help. So love that you were able to put it that way.